Good morning. I'm George Lysett, your Finance Chair. A few weeks ago, I addressed some of our concerns about our financial status and shared that we might be faced with some difficult decisions. Last week, Karen kicked off our stewardship campaign, and you may have already received your stewardship packet in the mail. In support of Karen and our stewardship team, I will be presenting some more specific details to you so you can understand where we really are financially as we all plan to prepare our giving plans for the coming Christmas season and the coming year. 2020 has been a tough year. COVID has not been kind to our personal lives, to the health of our families, to our jobs, and to our church. First, I want to share with you a comparison of 2019 and 2020. This is a high-level comparison of 2019 and 2020 budget, expenses, and giving. The first three columns in green represent 2019. The budget column is what we had planned to spend to operate or invest in our missions. Expenditures is what we actually spent, and giving is what we received in tithes and offerings. The light red section in the third column represents the strong giving we received in December. Despite that strong finish, we did see the year end in a $13,000 loss, which we drew from our savings. The second set of three blue bars represents 2020. You can see we set a $370,000 budget, much less than the 2019 year, and we project just under $305,000 in expenses. This is in part due to the tightening up on spending, as well as being given relief on our church building mortgage, as we are paying interest only for most of 2020. This benefit will cease in 2021, and we will realize an additional $24,000 per year in expenses. We anticipate $303,700 in giving for the year, leaving us just short of our anticipated expenses. This includes an estimated $50,000 in giving for December, which is a bigger unknown this year due to COVID. We additionally received a $39,300 payroll protection plan loan. Now I want to show you what our giving distribution looks like for 2020. Before I do that, I want to say there's no judgment here. This is just our reality. Everyone is in a different place in their financial health and in their ability to make offerings to the church. We've all heard the lesson of the widow's mite in Mark 12:41-44, in which a poor widow offers 2 small copper coins, which represented to her more financially than any of the others who were giving from their wealth. She gave with a strong faith. One other thing, we witness and realize that some people give weekly, some give monthly, and some give irregularly, depending on how they earn their income. For example, some earn performance or quota bonuses if they're in sales, and they give from that. So here's the graph. 2020 giving is shown here across 9 ranges of giving from 81 households. Giving in the table below is represented by weeks, month, and year. You can see here that the large majority of families that have attended through 2020 have not been able to give as much or at all. Each of the 9 ranges represents families that give from one end to another within a range. In the upper right corner, you see an annual estimated giving range. The low end of this range, $230,000, is realized if everyone gave from the bottom of each range. Likewise, if everyone gave from the top of their respective range, we would realize about $346,000 in annual giving. This is compared to our $370,000 planned budget. With this, you can see in the chart where your family giving fits. This chart now takes the previous and represents the current 81 families in light blue with the same potential ranges. Note that the giving is only represented here in giving per week. The 2 darker blue bars represent a combination of additional families that could give, as well as a more favorable distribution of giving, where there are fewer families giving in the lower ranges and more giving in the higher ranges. The results in the upper right match much more closely to our current $370,000 annual budget. So what does all this mean? Wherever you are, we need you in your discipleship and in your stewardship. We have an opportunity to grow and flex and we want you to continue to do so with us. Does the giving chart surprise you? Can you see yourself moving from one level to giving to another in your path to stewardship? Or do you look at this and say, there's just no way for us to give, pick a number, $25, $50, or $100 per week. We just don't have it. If that's what you're feeling right now, I completely understand. I've been there. 9 years ago, if this would have been presented to me, I would have told you there's simply no way I could do more than $20 per week. Back then, we had no organized financial plan, we had a mountain of debt, and we were not in control of our finances. When we came to church, we would give $10 or $20 per week because that's what we felt comfortable doing. In late 2012, we were presented with the opportunity to attend FPU, and it changed our lives. It completely changed the way we look at our finances. It allowed us to see what we need and what we don't. It allowed us to set our financial goals together and to see every dollar come in and then identify where we wanted it to go. It finally gave us control. Dave Ramsey says that if you don't control your money, that it'll slip from your fingers at the end of every month. You'll be asking yourself where it went. And if you find yourself in that position today, then I highly recommend you to pursue FPU, Financial Peace University. Classes are currently free and offered virtually for your own safety. As previously mentioned, your stewardship packets have been sent out and you will likely have already received yours. We prayerfully ask you to consider what you can do to continue to make Grace our home and continue to create a community where all people can experience God's transforming grace. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me or to Karen as we proceed further into stewardship.